Hey there, YouTube. Welcome on back to ArtichokeDip. My name is Rob, solo tabletop gamer. It's Friday, so normally I'd be at work, but I decided to burn up a vacation day. Got all these great games, and, well, things have been kind of hectic and really haven't had much time, so decided I needed to take a day and actually start to dive into some of these and really enjoy them, rather than being outside in negative 15-degree temperatures. Ugh, I hate winter. I hate it. Can't wait till it's over. Can't get over soon enough. But with that in mind, let's get into the video. And what is this all about? This is about a game system I recently added to my library called the Cypher system. If you've never heard of it, the Cypher system is it's a vast system. Anything you can possibly think of for an RPG setting, it's going to explain to you how to make the world, how to build it, campaign ideas, all kinds of things. And if that wasn't enough, it's got a simple system to it. As far as game mechanics go, I'm going to do a playthrough here and show you some of the other things I'll be using to generate that and do that. But with all that aside, just the book itself and the ideas it gives you for character creation is just absolutely astounding. There's just an endless amount of ideas that you can come up with out of here that so far, I have to admit, I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed by the system. So right there, 2 thumbs up for Cypher. But getting into it solo, let's get into what we're going to need to do the solo game. First thing is a good caffeinated beverage. Oh yeah. Some dungeon terrain. Some dungeon tiles. Polyhedral dice set. Some dungeon generation dice. And then last but not least, I'm going to be using this. This is called Dungeon Tables. It's by Stephen Chabot. And I have gotten a lot of his books that he has written. His random fantasy tables are just absolutely excellent. I love them. Compared to what I was using before, which that name will not be uttered on this channel. I have to admit, if you're a solitaire player and you're looking for some really good solid tables that are going to give you all your money's worth out of it, and you're going to get a lot of replayability out of it, a lot of good ideas, and a huge wealth of information for you, he is definitely worth looking into. So it is one of my absolute favorites. And I'll tell you what, he has also another book, which I'm not going to get into because this is basically a solo playthrough. I'm just taking it out for a test drive and really play through it. I've made a couple of characters. First one, I'm still working on a campaign, still working and writing that story and where I want to take it. And when I'm ready to unveil that, I'll get into that a little bit more. But this is just going to be good old-fashioned crunchy dungeon crawler, and I want to see how everything goes. But let's get into the video and get it to the table and see what we can do, and then you're going to see just really how simple the Cypher system is. And for solo play, it looks really good. Now, there is one rule change. It's a house rule that I put in for myself. And as you read through the rules of the Cypher system, it explains that anytime you roll a 1, at that point, there's what's called a GM intrusion, which means the GM is going to step in and he's going to make a determination of how the story goes or how the encounter, whatever it may be. But I don't have GM. I'm playing solitaire. So I decided, what if instead of using that, in its place, what I'm going to do is if I roll a 1 at any time, at that point, my story arc is going to be delayed by 1 game session, moved back. Now, my characters will still gain the experience out of it, but what this is going to do is it's going to really hamper the movement of my story arc as I go through it. So it's kind of a twofold thing. I get experience, and it's also going to draw out that story arc a little bit longer than what was originally anticipated. So with that in mind, if you're still with me and you're still interested, let's get down to the table, and we're going to jump right on into the Cypher system. All right, my friends, let's do this. Okay, so let's get this thing underway. I got my character right here, and here, I'll bring him up to the camera so you can get a better look at him there. Pretty cool looking HeroScape mini set that I got, and this is an older one. I heard a rumor, not sure, that they're going to be re-releasing HeroScape, but I think they're all going to be unpainted, so we'll see how that goes. I got enough unpainted stuff right now. But let's get into my character. My character's name is Angus Fayhold, and Angus is an exiled tribal Viking warrior. He has a companion, which is a raven named Ingzuth, and Ingzuth can speak to him and he can understand him, but other people cannot. So he has been exiled by his elders and viewed as cursed by the gods, and which is really cool because generating this through the Cypher system and just rolling on the randomized tables that they got, put this all together and it's able to formulate it. I was pretty impressed, actually. So in Cypher, they don't have class. At that point, you have a character idea. They don't really go by levels. They go by what's called a tier. And then as you advance, you go up through other tiers to where you get more special abilities, which allows your character to do more things. The cool thing about it is it's highly customizable, and you can adapt it to anything you want. And as far as bringing in encounters are easy to bring into this. It's a very simple system. So he does have 2 skills, which he's trained in, which is climbing and swimming. His inventory, he has a healing rune pendant, which I have gained as my character creation, and which is really cool. So the way it breaks down is 3 times throughout the game. If he's injured, he can use the pendant 3 times per game session and heal 1d6 points of damage. He also has a battle axe, he's chainmail armor, he has a shield, rope, torches, and he has ciphers. Now, ciphers are not, because of the name, the Cypher system, as it explains in there, a cipher is, think of it as like a treasure that you find, but it's a consumable treasure, if you will, like a potion, or just depending on how you play it. Let's say a alien ship crashed and there were power crystals scattered all over the ground, and your characters found those, and it was able to enhance or give them a bonus depending on what they were going to use it for. These are just examples to throw out there, very loosely worded to the way that they explained it in the book, but the concepts are very easy to understand. Okay, and with my familiar, Ingzuth, he also has his own set of stats that are very simple. Jeez, oh, Pete's, what the... Got some eraser. There we go. I still like old lead pencils and erasers with my paper. Bad thing is sometimes you get the little eraser, whatever you want to call them, the eraser waste on the table. Okay, so we know who the character is. You understand this, the dungeon tables. The other thing I will be using is this right here. I talked about it. I'm going to show you how I use it for RPG. It's called the Solo system. This is an extremely very versatile system. It can be used for board games to play solo, war games, RPGs, anything you can think of. And I've been very, very surprised since I picked this up. As a matter of fact, I've been using this quite a bit, actually. And it's an excellent system. It's very simple to get under your belt and learn. Okay, so we have that out of the way. We got our dungeon tiles here, and we're going to be using those. I do have one disclaimer in the video. Actually, it's a couple of things. First thing is, if I'm kind of a little fuzzy on some of the rules, or maybe I do something that some of you out there that are Cypher experts may say, hey, that's wrong, or maybe doesn't understand it completely, just be patient with me. This is my first solitaire run through, so we're taking this out for a spin. So I anticipate to make a mistake here or there. That's what they call the learning curve. All right, so we have the dice that are going to generate my dungeon. As you can see right there, you got various different ideas I can throw out. Treasure, dice, all that type of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, polyhedral dice set. And with the polyhedral, whatever. Last board game I played, I use these babies. Okay, so in the Cypher system, D20 is going to be your basically mainstay. So you're going to use this quite a bit. You will use other dice in your polyhedral dice set, but not as often. You're going to find that the D20 is going to be your main die. As far as the solo system, I am using 3 of the cards out of the deck. Actually, there's going to be no NPCs in my game for this, so we're going to have 2, actually. I stand corrected. That's going to be probability and tactics. So I'm not going to have to worry about NPCs, so personality isn't going to be an issue at this point. All right, put those back in the box. So let's get this thing started. As Angus is crossing the vast open wilderness of the Norse, as we can imagine, the Norse middle world setting, he sees dark clouds gathering on the horizon along with streaks of lightning, and Igzuth, his familiar, crows in his ear and says, looks like somebody has fallen out of favor with the god of thunder. You better find some shelter soon, otherwise, you probably won't be anymore. Angus just like shrugs him on the shoulder and he tells him, go on, go find somewhere we can shelter for the evening. If I leave everything up to you, we'll be dead before morning. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to just fast forward and say he has found a place for shelter, and we'll see how this goes. So, move this over here. I'm going to put this here like so. Move my dice out of the way. So here is my character, Angus, and he has found a stone opening, and let me see if we can find some details, because this is all going to be randomized. I don't have anything pre-planned. This is all on the fly, and I want to see how this is actually going to... Archways, building materials, archway decorations. Let's go to 13. Let's see what we can find cool in here. This should be interesting. Let's roll a d10 and see. Rolled a 1. Oh! Ooh! A curse. Oh boy. That's not gonna be very good. Let me see, did I do that right? Oh, let me re-roll that even though it's a curse. I rolled the wrong dice. Let's roll the 20. This looks like it goes into percentile all the way up to 30. That goes up to a 16. So we'll roll a 20, see what else. Okay, a 2. Let's see if I like 2 better than 1. Dragons or other mythically powerful creatures. I think we're gonna stick with the curse. So let's stick with the curse and let's see what the curse is going to bring. So let's go to the prop. Well, first things first. He has a relatively low, well, it's an average intellect of 9, which average ranges from 9 to 12. My speed is a 12, which is still average. His might is a 15, which is above average. So he's pretty brutal in that aspect. But intellect, well, you know, he specializes in fighting. He's a brawler. He's not really a scholar. So let's see. I'm going to roll a d10, and I want to see where my challenge rating is going to be to see if he even notices anything odd about this entryway. A 3. Okay, so how the challenge ratings go, this is a challenge rating of a 3. So you take that number and multiply it by 3, right? So what are you going to have? 3, 6, 9. So there we go. My challenge rating is a 9. I'm going to roll, and I want to see if Angus notices this curse that is been chiseled into the stonework of the arch. So I have no effort, so I can't put effort into it to reduce that number. Now, what I could do to reduce it is I could take one of these out of my pool. I have 9 to work with, and that would reduce it by 1. So we'll go from a challenge rating of 9 to an 8, which would give me, you know, a little bit of a bonus there. So let's do that. Let's reduce this to an 8. So now I have to roll an 8 or better. Well, let me see if he gets that. He rolls a 4. He bombs it. He does absolutely horrible. So he doesn't even notice it. He just enters into the archway unwillingly, knowing he passed a curse. And now I'm going to go to the probability deck. I want to see what does this curse actually involve? What am I getting myself into here? Because this may not be good. This may be very, very bad. All right. So let's get into the probability deck. Okay, first thing, is the curse evil? No, it's not an evil curse. Is the curse, it's not evil, so what would I say? Does the curse invoke bad luck? Yes, it does. Okay, so with that in mind, I can say with bad luck, every roll I have has a -1 to it. So unfortunately, I have been cursed, I have walked through, and I have had to kind of, well, put myself in this predicament. So let's see how this is going to play out. Let's find a place for shelter. Let's go over here. Great. What is it? It's a cursed archway. All right. All right. Well, let's roll the dungeon generation dice and let's see what we come to first. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. So we're going to say the dungeon looks something like this. Blammo, let's say that's a stone floorway that we walked into. And then I am faced with a decision quite quickly. This dead ends like so. And of course there's a stone wall behind it. So I have a choice. All right. So I have a choice, left or right. And before I go, let's go to the probability deck and let's see. Are there any encounters in my general vicinity currently right now that Angus may notice? No. So there's no encounters in this general vicinity, so I am clear there, so I can just make my decision. Well, let's work down this way. I got more area to work here. So he's going to, actually, before I move, I'm going to light a torch. So he's going to light a torch up. And one thing I have found for solitaire play that works really well, I picked up some condition rings that I used with other board games, but I find they work well too when you're using minis on your board. And I just drop them like that, and I can say there is the area that my torch is going to light up to, where my character can actually see pretty well where he's going and identify what he's looking at without having to make a roll. So if he sees something on the floor, like a magic item, something like that, he'll be able to say, oh, that's really cool, this looks like it's really significant, and I should probably grab that, versus if it's in a darker area, you may have to roll a perception check, we'll say, a search check, however you want to word that. Okay, enough of that small talk, Artichoke, move your ass along. Okay, so I have reached the end of this, and let's see where the dungeon will take us now. We are continuing straight through. So let's put another tile down. As a matter of fact, what I can do, since I chose to go this way, I can always just move that right there, like so. Okay, so are there any encounters in this area that I'm gonna have to be concerned about, or let's see, let's ask that first. Yes, there is. Okay, so I can do this one of two ways. I can do an intellect roll, and I can see if he notices something, or I can leave it to the probability deck and say, I think I'll leave it to the probability deck. Let's go that route. So I'm going to say, first and foremost, does Angus see what's in this area? No, he does not. Does what's lurking in this area notice him? Which I would think yes, because he's got the one with the torch, and of course, yeah, right on, it's yes. All right, so what kind of encounter should this be? I decided before I started this, because with the challenge ratings, they go on a 1 through 10. And you take that number, you multiply it by 3, and that's your target number you have to roll on your dice. But I was thinking, okay, if I'm playing this solitaire, to break things up a bit, to keep a little bit of variability in this, and instead of having this already built out set of encounters in the challenge levels, what if I use a 1d4? So the challenge levels can range from 1 to 4, which will change things a bit and make it interesting, considering if I do run into the same encounter again, it could be easier, or it could be my nightmare and the death of my character. So let's see what the challenge rating is, because I know what I want to put here. Ooh, challenge rating of 4. Ouch. Ooh. So I'm going to have to roll a 12 or better in order to hit this thing, but that's good because this is going to be in my category of my might, which you can look at that as your attributes, which it is. It's my might attribute, strength attribute, combat attribute, something to kill. Okay. So, unknown to Angus, as he continues down the path, he's going to find he is not alone. And now, I'm going to roll for some initiative here. I'm going to see who goes first and who attacks first. And this should be a pretty simple, straightforward thing. Huh. Yeah, the 20-sider go. I'm not gonna... Ah, there it is. Ain't gonna let no dang spider outdo me. Alright, I have a 3. No, I have a 6, I'm sorry. And the giant spider has a 7. That's horrible. Okay, so in Cypher, the encounter doesn't roll against you. You actually have to roll a defense against it. Well, we already know it's a challenge rating of 4. So the defense is going to be a 12 or better, because that's the challenge rating of it. So first thing I got to do, and if I look, I have chainmail armor. Now, this offers me an armor protection of 2, which means it'll absorb 2 points of damage from this thing. And I will have 2 points of damage I will have to deal with. Or I can try to bring the defense down a little bit by burning up some dice out of my pool, which I don't think I'm going to do because I have some... Let's just see first. Let's roll a defense die first and see what happens. Okay, I rolled a 17. So, as this little bugger comes out of the shadows to attack, luckily the armor and his quick thinking on his feet, he is equipped with a shield, is able to save his butt, and he's able to block off the attack. Now it's his turn, and I'm going to attack him. I have to have a 12 or better. I have 1 effort. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to reduce it from 12 to an 11. So I'm going to roll an 11 or better. I could burn up some more dice out of my pool and bring that down even more. So maybe I'll do that, and I'll move this down to a 14, and I'll make it an even 10. So a 10 or better, a 10 or better. Come on. A 13. Okay, I was very, very successful. Okay, so I'm using a medium weapon here, which is a battle axe. It does 4 points of damage. Well, he's a challenge rating 4, which means he's only got 4 life points. So this is a good call. At this point, the battle axe comes down, and the spider is no longer. Okay. It's pretty easy, simple combat. Pretty moves quick. So far, I like it. All right. So, let me see. First and foremost, I'm going to look around in this area now that the spider's done. I'm taking a closer look. Do I see anything in my vicinity that may look interesting for me to investigate? No, I see nothing. So I am currently locked into this path that is leading just straight into I don't know where, because this is a randomized dungeon. Okay, so let's move to here. Now I'm gonna roll my randomized dungeon die. Oh, it's gonna dead end into a room. Let's say this is gonna go, move it like that. Make it a little hard to get into. Actually, let's go one step further. Let's go to my dungeon tables and see what I can muster up out of here. Didn't even think about that. I should back this way up. I think I'm getting too far ahead of myself, Artichoke. first and foremost, let's go to the probability deck. Is there a door? No. Okay. No door, so this is opened up. This can stay in play. Are there any light sources I can see? Yes, there is. So there is a light source from within this area. And we'll have to see what that light source is. But I'm going to put down... Just continue this out this way. Maybe like do something a little different like that. Make it a little odd. There we go. Okay, so let's go back to the probability deck. Okay, is it in this main part of the room that I see, or into the farther part that he can't actually see right now? So is it in this part? No, it's not, which means the light source is over here. Okay, does it seem to be natural light source? Yes, so that would mean a fire. So I'm gonna, there's going to be a fire in this area. So, move the whole dungeon. Boom. Put this up here like so. And I can put this over here like that. Alright, so there is a fire in the area. Okay, so this is what I know. As Angus approaches, you can see there is a very narrow path that's leading into this area. You can see light from his viewpoint here, maybe back towards this way, and so he knows there's a light source in there. So let's get into the probability deck and let's see what else we have. Okay, first and foremost, is there an encounter in this area? No, there's not. Interesting. Okay, are there any... There's no encounters. I know that. Are there any traps or magical traps or anything like this in this area that Angus may have to worry about? Yes, there is. Okay. So, that's player knowledge, not character knowledge. So he does not know that yet. Oh, and I forgot to do the -1 when I did the roll because of the curse. I forgot about that, so I'm going to have to tack that on. Oh, man. Okay, so let's get into... that would be a good one. 103. Okay, let me roll a percentage die. Let's see what's actually in here. 6. Does not go that high. Only do a 50, so I'm gonna have to keep that. We got a 10, 14. Ooh, okay. Coal, which would make sense if that's burning. This should be rather interesting. Okay, so there's no encounter in there. And Angus is gonna peek into the room, so he is currently here, and I'm going to see if he can hear anything out of the ordinary, anything to give him a sense of danger in the area or anything like that. So that'll be an intellect roll. It's gonna be a 3. So he's gonna have a 3 or better unless he rolls a 1. And he rolled a 1. Oh my god, -1. Okay, oh god. Oh god. So what do I do in this situation? I'm going to gain some experience out of this, so I'm going to write that down. But considering I have just started this, it would be 1 extra game session. So I could take this area all the way into its own game session itself, which could be rather interesting. Needless to say, he didn't hear a damn thing. He's oblivious as to what's going on around him. I have no confidence my character's going to make it to the end of this scenario. All right. What the hell? They say ignorance is bliss, so Angus is just going to move into this area. So the last thing I want to know out of the probability deck is that I rolled on the table that there is coal currently burning in here, and the coal itself is magically infused, but I don't know magically infused with what. So let's go to the probability deck, my last card before I reshuffle, and is there a bad negative effect in this area? Yes, there is. A real bad negative effect. Oh boy. That's not good. Alright. Let's reshuffle a probability deck and let's move on from there. So far, I really like the Cypher system. This is a blast. It's simple to play, and you can pretty much, do whatever you want with this. Your imagination is unhinged and unlimited to what you can actually do with it. But getting back into the probability deck. Okay, so this magical coal that is burning is having a negative effect on Angus. As far as that goes, let's see. Is this going to have an evil spell effect? That's the first thing I want to know, because we know it's a negative, but is it going to have that's not the right way I want to go with that. How do I want to word this? Could this spell be summoning something like undead creatures? Let's see. Yes. Okay. That would make sense. And let's see here. Let's roll the 1d4 and see where the challenge rating is. It's a 3. Ooh, so we'll be running at a 9. And how many do I have to worry about? I'm going to roll the 1d4 again just to see. 2. Okay, well, I can handle that. That's not too bad. So, I'm going to say to my surprise in this area, get my character sheet out of the way here. He can see that as the fire, from what he can see back here, dwindles off into shadow and darkness, but we can now see that this area just keeps going out that way, farther and farther. But what now? Here is the other thing I'm going to do. So they are a challenge rating 3, which is going to make him a 9. I'm going to give him an intellect roll. And he's going to have to do a 9 or better to see if he can see the threat that's heading his way. Oh my god. I rolled a 1 again. Okay, so, not only does he not see what's heading his way, I've just extended this dungeon crawler out to more game sessions longer than, wow. And what is my story arc? Fall from grace. So, oh yeah, I've fallen pretty far from grace, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna say, as he entered into the room, he noticed the fire begin to change color, and it took on a almost purplish hue flame that it began to emit, which kind of distracted him as he was focused on the fire and trying to comprehend what he was seeing. Now, here's my other question. Is my raven currently with me? No, he's not. My raven has decided to abandon me, and he has not entered into the room with me. So he is not even here to help me out. I am all on my own, and as a result of me not noticing these guys, they have now moved in to my location. I'm gonna say he's here looking at the fire like, oh, isn't that cool? I've never seen that color fire before. And of course, they're gonna get the jump on me. So he's gonna move in like this, adjacent. This guy's moving up, and I'm gonna have to roll a defense, and it's gonna have to be a 9 or better. Let's see how I do. I have rolled an 8. I have done horribly. Good thing is, well, I'm gonna take 7 points of damage. That's the bad thing I have to deal with. So that's gonna knock me down to a 7. I'm gonna need some healing here soon. Luckily, I have a pendant for that, but unfortunately, being caught off guard, which I'm well aware they are there now, I'm gonna have to deal with this. Okay, so they got the jump on me. They first attack's down. Now it's my turn, and I'm going to attack him. Let me see what I get. I gotta have a 9 or better. Really can't use might at this point because I burned up quite a bit by getting attacked by... Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that right? No, I didn't do that right. This is what I was talking about by me getting to learn a new game. So it goes by the weapon, not by the challenge rate. So my defense, I failed. The weapon, if they're using a medium weapon, which I'm going to say they are using a medium weapon, that's going to be 4 points of damage. His armor is going to withstand 2, which means he'll take 2 points, not 7. So that would bring him down to a 13. Regardless, that's points I don't want to lose. So now I am going to counterattack, and let's see how this goes. All right, come on, come on, come on. Ooh, a 17. Okay, so this is good that this came up. So in Cypher, something cool happens besides the number 1 that seems to keep happening to me. If you roll a 17, 18, 19, and or 20, cool things happen. 17, you get a +1 to your damage. 18, +2. 19, you get a +3. And then a 20, you get... As the way it explains in the book, basically, you do a monumental attack. You can think of it like a critical you would in any other RPG, because in fact, that's what it is. So I would have to go back to the rule book to get the exact wording of the 20. and I don't see it necessary at this point because I've only rolled a 17. So 17 means I'm going to get a +1 damage to whatever I do. So I am using the battle axe. It does 4 damage, which now will currently do 5. They are a challenge rating of 3. So with 4 points of damage, he is destroyed. He is out of the game and gone. All right, now let's get on to the next encounter, which will be this guy that's not going to be too happy to see me. He moves up and he's going to attack, which I got to roll a defense against him. Being a 9, I'm going to have to, actually he's challenge rating 3, but 3 times 3 is 9. So I got to roll a 9 or better. But I'm going to do something else. I'm going to use one of my abilities, which is a warding shield, which I get a +1 to armor. Now you can't have any more than a minimum of 2. My chainmail's already 2. But what I'm going to do with this, and I'll explain it to you. So my shield, which I put underneath light armor, gives me an armor value of 1. But the fact that I have warding shield as an ability, it gives me a +1, and it has to be enabled, which means you have to actively use that like I am currently right now. I am defending, and at that point I can activate it. You just can't use it willy-nilly when you want to on the fly. There's certain conditions in order to use this, which at this point all conditions are met. So I'm going to use my shield to block the incoming attack from him, and let's see how we do. We got to have a 9 or better. And I have an effort of 1, so I can reduce that to an 8. I rolled a 3. Dang. Wow. Okay. Well, he's using a medium weapon, which does 4 points of damage, and I'm going to reduce that to 2, which at that point, I'm going to take 2 more points of damage, which is going to bring me down to 11 on my might. Okay. Interesting. So far, I really like this game. I really, really do. And using this just like this is a dungeon crawler way to basically get the simple... Well, there we have it, my friends. So I decided to break this video up into a 2-part video. It took me roughly about 2 hours to get through the couple of rooms that I went through in the encounters. And I have to tell you, it was a blast. It did not seem like it. The Cypher system, it's a really simple game, works extremely well. Solitaire, I'm really surprised, and I can see why Don, the solo RPG guy, likes it so much and why he talks about it so much. And I'll probably be talking about it a lot more as myself, to be honest with you. But if you enjoyed it, let me know. Click that like button. It lets me know you like the content. On top of that, it's going to bring more gaming content your way. Now, as I said in my previous videos, I'm not your average YouTuber. I don't upload every single day. I could go weeks, maybe months, without uploading anything, just depending on my scheduling and what I have going on. So it's beneficial to you to click the subscribe button, followed by the bell icon. When I do upload, you're going to get a notification so you don't miss one. All right, my friends, until the next video, this is ArtichokeDip, signing off. Game on, my friends.